This position for just a few days over a year, as most of you know. You, the senior residents and fellows, have helped me enormously during the past year. And so many of you were there when I really needed help to assist me. In the pain clinic out at 850, I struggled through the new electronic record, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about. And if I hadn't had pain fellows right there at my elbow and writing the vast majority of my notes, I wouldn't have gotten through. Same for the residents. As you know, I spend a day a week in the operating room, and if I hadn't had residents, and the dirty little secret is they were almost always this class of residents, the CA3s, keep the boss out of trouble. I probably would have gotten in a lot more trouble, and some of you got in trouble with me, and we seemed to get out together. They're laughing because they remember some pretty frightening moments there. And I want to thank Alice, Juan, and Jason, who were just a terrific team of chief residents. You know, I told you when I first came that immediately on arriving here that the feeling was just friendlier. And I think the three of them as a team really had that upbeat, can-do attitude. It was just terrific. And that was both putting together social events and, you know, battling through each month's on-call schedule. So as most of you have learned by now, I'm a very avid photographer. I really enjoy a good image, illustration. Sometimes it's a graph that puts across scientific information. Other times it's just showing people what we do in a very real way. I do a lot of the images for online for anesthesiology. I think they can tell you so much more than words. So I'd like to take you on a brief visual tour. This resident class has been here in Boston during some really extraordinary times, so I thought I'd start with a look back at a few of these, and I think you'll remember the dates. This was a really memorable date, I think. And this is my neighborhood in the South End, just in the days afterwards. It was really an extraordinary time. The entire area was on lockdown, and we were in the midst of that, and we were dead center in that area. Another one, February 16th, 2015. Anybody remember what happened that day? Epic? Again? No, not that epic. Blizzard Neptune, remember that? This is what it looked like in the South End. It shut the whole, this is my street, Dartmouth Street, and just outside the window. Those things to the sides are cars. And, the Boston Public Library, and this is the en route. Couldn't really get to New York from there. It was really pretty incredible. June 1st, 2015. Epic, right. E-Care Go Live at Brigham and Women's. And this image, I think, I put in for a chuckle because I don't think this is our CEO, Betsy Nabel, with the head of Partners E-Care in the training center down at Lafayette Corporate Center. I don't think she uses it very often. That should not detract from her importance. So, let's see where I want to go with this. Lots of different directions. And I want to share them with you and your families. You've all seen them, I think. And many of you have been a part of that. You know, if you get just too close to me, hang around too much, I drag you into a picture. And that gets published somewhere, and sometimes it gets published over and over. So let's take a look. This is the first one. I was here just about a month, and we were... Yeah, this one I'm extremely proud of. It's our department on 4 o'clock on a Friday afternoon. I sent out a page. Everybody assembled in the main lobby of Brigham and Women's. And this is to illustrate an article about diversity in our specialty, the dramatic increase in diversity in anesthesiology, and our department epitomizes that, and I think that's just terrific. And that I will take, you know, I was going to do a little bit of joke because I had to Photoshop this a lot, and I pulled up individuals. I'll let you look at this closely, but I think you can see individuals doing exactly what they do best. Now that I know their personalities scattered throughout this when you look at it closely. This is just the other day, a Wade fiber optic, and I just dragged one of our very willing residents in and posed, and that's in this issue of anesthesiology. And then Leslie was a member of the class here, and she was out there playing administrator of the day and doing a great job and volunteered to come. And this is now all over the place, right? It's in the main lobby on the bulletin board. So, yeah, not so bad, but thank you very much, Leslie. So again, thank you for being so willing to serve as my real-life anesthesiologist models to show how the world what anesthesiologists do. You know, so finally, just a few words of wisdom as you look to your future. You're at a critical point where training ends and the real life begins. You know, I get it. Some of you are going on and doing fellowships, a whole lot of you doing fellowships, but you're really close to entering your career, and you're going to become real practicing anesthesiologists, critical care physicians, and pain medicine physicians. You know, when I started, I was extremely nervous. That was 1992, and I remember it. You know, you feel extremely well trained, but you still have the jitters. The jitters will pass. And what I really want to tell you is about what a career in anesthesiology and medicine is really, it's always changing. So you get used to that first step, and then it changes again, and it changes again. And you'll be redirected throughout your career. It's a wonderful part about being a physician in anesthesiology. There's so many ways you can go. And it's going to be full of choices, and difficult choices, sometimes terrific choices, two good things, and trying to figure out which one's best. So I want to frame this with one of my favorite poems. It's by Robert Frost. It's New England's very own Robert Frost, and it's called Road Not Taken. I'm sure most of you know it very well. And this is what most people know about it. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that's made all the difference. But that's what we all know. So I want to read you the whole poem real quickly. Frost said, "Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both, and be one traveler. Long I stood, and looked down one as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth. Then took the other, as just as fair, and having perhaps the best claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear, though as for the passing there, had worn them really about the same. And both that morning equally lay in leaves, no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day, yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. Shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages hence. Two roads diverged in the yellow wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that's made all the difference." So I've been a pain physician, I've been a cardiac anesthesiologist, I've talked to many of you about that, but I've been a clinical trialist, I've been a pharmacologist, a professor in the classroom. All of these extraordinary opportunities come up, and you can never do it all, and you've got to make these choices. There's two messages I want to... What is Frost really saying in his poem? He's saying he comes to this fork, and he's got two good choices, and they look about the same. And he looks, and he thinks he takes the better one. But then as he starts down that other path, he realizes they're just about the same, and he'll probably never come back. So what I urge you to do is don't worry about the choices. I'm talking with Nimrata earlier, and she's had some really tough choices about what kind of job is facing her. And I've had those sort of tough choices, and you know what? It just has never mattered, as long as I pursued whatever path I chose with passion and deliberately. And that's what I ask you to do. You'll have many choices. Pursue it deliberately. So, it will evolve in the years ahead. I bet that one or two of you will make an impact on the entire field of medicine. I'm certain that you will have an enormous impact on your communities. Each and every one of you are what help our department fulfill our mission, our vision. And our vision is to be one of the premier training grounds for the very best clinicians, educators, and scientists in our field. The place where top students go to be trained as innovative leaders in our specialty. You are the next generation of innovative leaders, and we will proudly watch as you define the future of our specialty. Thank you.